Welcome to Session Update. I'm Janelle Trobeck. While lawmakers have been deep in work on major funding bills, various groups have been stopping by the Capitol. Yesterday, the Red Cross brought awareness to the life-saving services they provide, including training in first aid and CPR, collecting and distributing blood donations, along with providing disaster relief of all kinds. Governor Mark Dayton declared March Red Cross Awareness Month and addressed supporters.
But I want to thank all of you very much for the extraordinary work that you do with the American Red Cross, the Minnesota chapters across the state. You know, I see signs of your commitment all over as I go, and will be in the next weeks. I fear going to the areas of flooding and serious disruption, dislocation in people's lives. That's where the Red Cross is. As last fall when I was in Owatonna helping with the cleanup there, as I was in Medina last summer to help with the effects of the tornado there. Wherever there's a disaster and people are in need, there's the Red Cross. And it's a commitment that your organization has made in Minnesota and across the country and throughout the world, all over these last decades, and that you're carrying on so admirably here throughout our state. So it's great pride and pleasure that I have the opportunity as governor of Minnesota to declare March American Red Cross Month and to encourage all Minnesotans to support this great organization and your noble mission throughout Minnesota.
I think everybody knows that the emblem of the Red Cross stands for help and stands for hope. And it's great to be able to have that out there in front of people every day and to be here to talk about it in our state capitol. March is Red Cross Month, and it's a time when we celebrate the support we receive from our donors. And our theme this year for Red Cross Month is Join Us. So we hope that others around that are not Red Cross members or contributors or supporters will consider joining us this time. I want you to know that across Minnesota right now there are over 10,000 Red Cross volunteers. Now you wouldn't know it looking around the room today, but they're all getting ready for floods. So they're not with us today, but around the state we're fortunate to have 10,000 volunteers that work hard every day to get prepared for disasters. The disaster is our biggest area of work that we do every day. Across the country, we respond to some 75,000 disasters every year. But right now in Minnesota, we're responding annually to about 600 disasters, almost 2 a day, every day in Minnesota that we're out responding to. Every night somewhere, while most of us are sleeping, Red Cross volunteers are standing on somebody's lawn somewhere. They're providing a blanket to keep them warm, a hot cup of coffee, a place to stay for the night, and help with people getting them back on their feet. Literally, we've been at the scenes of hundreds of fires, and I've stood out there with the loved ones that have been lost, and with the pets that have been lost, and the terrible tragedies that have happened in these events. And it's so great to watch our volunteers, you know, providing food and clothing and comfort and a shoulder to lean on. I think the greatest gift we give is truly that shoulder to lean on.
We do appreciate the Red Cross and their support, especially of our Hannah's Law coming up. It's right now moving. If you haven't heard about it, first off, it's a bill that requires anyone that is a teacher working in daycare to be certified with CPR. Knock, knock, putting head, is that a pretty simple one or not? To me it was. It made common sense. We looked at it and said, as a former first aid instructor, I said to myself, everybody should have this, but let's start with those that take care of our children. And so it was a good time, and to do something like that. I remember when I did training, the first thing I always learned was to yell out, somebody call 911. It's that training that constantly comes back to you. I've had the opportunity in life to, I think, resuscitate 2 people. Now, it wasn't in the jobs that I was doing, although I was a lifeguard and worked for the YMCA, but it was other times that I was down at a lake. Just happened to be with my family or my wife doing things, and somebody had drowned, or as in this situation I remember was a child that we found underneath the dock. So it's very important. This thing's going to get done, and we're going to see some great changes in our society with some good legislation.
I was in my district in North Mankato where the little girl died, where Hannah died because no one was able to perform CPR. And I'm proud to be a co-author of that bill, and I was proud to speak on the House floor when Representative Holberg brought the bill for a vote. And I want to thank you for that support for that bill. That's tremendously important. I'm proud to carry the American Red Cross license plate bill in the House again this year. I think any way that we can advertise, we can support, and we can publicize your efforts, we need to take that on behalf of all citizens of Minnesota.
Red Cross volunteers show up anywhere, and when they do great things. And so as we think about where we are right now with respect to flooding in Minnesota, I know, because I've been there, the Red Cross will be there. When the tsunami hit Japan, the Red Cross was there. And on and on and on and on. The Red Cross is always there because that's what you do. And that's what you do so very, very well. And that's the history of your organization into the past. It's the future of your organization going forward. I've got the great privilege this year of carrying your Red Cross license bill, and we're doing pretty well in the Senate, I think, and all's well. And we've just got to make that end well. And hopefully that's going to bring about a little extra cash for you folks to take on and to do your mission with. And that's important. We all know that. And I just think about days back in Breckenridge and East Grand Forks, and now some years ago actually, but we're reliving them and noting firsthand. St. Peter as well. The Red Cross is always there. Red Cross is always there. They're there, frankly, before the scene in terms of their overall preparedness plans. They're there after it all hits in terms of execution.
You were just listening to lawmakers and others speaking at a Red Cross event yesterday here at the Capitol. Coming up next is the Senate Taxes Committee. They are attempting to wrap up their bill by the end of the day. The bill includes an across-the-board cuts for local government aid, but would allow cities to raise a local 50-cent sales tax increase through referendum. We're going to take you live now to room 15, where this hearing should get underway shortly.